Listen, obviously the Dodgers are inevitable. I saw somebody in our Discord say that today. I forget who, so I cannot. It might have been Alexander Rose, but the team is a very good team. We know this much, but Dave deciding to sell out there. He pinch hits Will Smith for Dalton Rushing when they have a chance to come back, have a chance to tie, or go ahead there in what is it, the eighth inning, seventh inning. He went all in. Also throwing Kyle Tucker in there, making the right decisions pitching wise. I really liked the decision, honestly, to leave Roki in there because he's got to wear it for the reasons we said yesterday. Like he probably needs to eat it a little bit because there's no rip in case of Robleski plan. And for him to go back out there and have a better inning following the blow up, we're good with it, or at least look a little bit better, look like he was able to regain himself. There's a lot of things. There was really a lot of things to like about the series, but in particular this game. And this is the first time, very early season, we're 9 games into the season. I said it also in the Discord. I'm like, I really like this team all of a sudden. We know there's a lot of talent, but it's also like fun talent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess we do need to lead with Roki, like because Roki for the time being is going to be the main story every time he starts, either because he makes progress or because he doesn't, or like today, because both of those things are true. Because the fact is, he did get through 5 innings, which was important. He did have a bounce back inning after struggling. Kamaka in the chat says 2 bad pitches by Roki, big deal, and I'm close to agreeing with that. The fact is, one of the bad pitches was not just a bad pitch; it was an 0-2 hanging fork ball with 2 guys on base, and so like it's hard to have 2 guys on base without making a couple less than perfect pitches before that too. So it's true that 5 of the 6 runs came on 2 swings of the bat, 2 really bad pitches. But that's one of the things that we need from Roki is to, like, everybody's going to give up home runs, make them solo homers. Just
Yep.
stop walking guys, stop putting guys on base, and that's where. But honestly, today I can genuinely say Roki was around the strike zone a lot more.
Yeah.
And that was good. That was progress. That was one of the things I was looking for. And we joked after his last start that he has the best ERA of any starter on the team right now, even though we all agreed that his 1 run in 4 innings was not indicative. He was not better than Yamamoto's 2 runs in 6 innings or Glasnow's 2 runs in 6 innings or whatever. The end result, the numbers don't tell you everything. And so even though Roki gave up 6 runs in 5 innings today, there was definite progress in being around the zone, and progress isn't going to be linear. He's not just going to get
Yeah.
better every time. He's going to get better in some ways, and then today it's like he remembered, the downside of being around the zone is sometimes you're 2 in the zone to James Wood on an 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, the one guy you shouldn't be in the zone to, or
Yeah,
one of the main guys, the primary guy you shouldn't be in the zone to.
yeah, and and it was that fork ball, and so he learned a lesson hopefully from that. For me, I saw enough from Roki today that I am not. A lot of people looked at the stat line and are pounding the Roki to AAA drum even more than they already were.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I am like, today I saw enough progress in some important ways that I'm able to overlook the, he gave up some big home runs with guys on base and really put the team in a hole. And maybe that's easier to overlook because the Dodgers did come back and win. I don't know for sure. But that's kind of where I feel, how I feel about it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm got distracted. I was all ready to go, and then I got distracted. So I'm trying to find something I really liked about Sasaki today is him going. I was trying to find the exact number. He was going to that slider a lot, the slider cutter, sort of whatever they want to call it. Obviously, it's being listed as a slider, but they said in leading into spring training that he was trying to work on a cutter and a 2-seamer. It looks like they've smartly scrapped the 2-seamer for all of the reasons I talked about too many times. I'm not going to get my demonstration ball to show people the how that could affect his fork ball, but with great slider comes potentially bad forkball, which is that one that could not have been served up on a tee better for James Wood. And yeah, you hope that one, a miss that bad is a solo shot. But I really like that for all of the I wouldn't say battling, but I'm not going to not say battling that we've kind of heard behind the scenes with Roki and the organization. I think he is finding that cutter, that slider, whatever you want to call it, is getting him in the strike zone a little bit more, making his spray pattern a little less insane like we saw in spring training, and letting him have something to work with. If it's not going to be the forkball for a little bit, hell, it took Gavin Stone a season to learn how to make that devastating changeup work for him as a big leaguer. If it's going to be the slider right now, slider fastball, and then the forkball can be more consistently devastating, then this kid could be the weapon that we hoped he could be when the Dodgers were the team that won the bidding or whatever. You said it's not a massive step up, but when you do consider the numbers in spring training and the fact that he, I think, got pulled in the first inning of every single one of those games, the fact that he's been able to battle, go 4 innings, 5 innings, it is a linear, not exactly a linear climb uphill, but
the innings pitched is linear so far.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Enigma in the chat. I think he feels like he's in the Discord, because this is the kind of argumentative tone we get from him in the Discord. He says, Jeff, is there any point you would ever consider sending him to AAA? At what point is enough enough? Absolutely, there is. If we weren't seeing progress, like I said, that we're seeing progress in important areas, because Roki's biggest issue is not knowing where his fastball's going. And that issue was better today. It wasn't great, but it was better. And so for me, progress is progress. And honestly, I wouldn't be upset if they sent him to AAA. This is a case, and I know Enigma loves when I say this, I trust that the Dodgers, I trust them to know better than me what's best for his development. And that might be, our AAA pitching coaches are great, but not as good as our major league staff. And so we want him developing here. And if that's, and I don't know if that's the reason or part of the reason, but I do trust two things. I know that the Dodgers want to win games even more than I want the Dodgers to win games. And they've like met Roki Sasaki and talked to him in person. And I have not, they're better at this than I am. And so if I wasn't seeing progress, I'd probably be beating the send him to AAA drum. But since there's progress and I trust them, I'm fine with him being where he is.
Maddie Man in the chat said, how dare you, Jeff? We know everything. We being the chat and, of course, fans. I agree with the sentiment that he's not going to get better like with the resources they would have at AAA. Obviously, the Dodgers are going to have the best resources at the major league level to help him get better. It wasn't so much about that, in my opinion. It was more about, you don't agree with that, the sentiment that it's mostly mental for him. That's my take of it. And the mental leads to the lack of command more so for him, because he even admitted after that first start, he had kind of nothing in the tank. He was, I don't know if he said scared. He didn't say scared, but
that's kind of my point. He then pitched much better than he did in spring training after admitting that he wasn't there mentally. I think and we could go back and forth on this. I believe the mental is the result of the physical, the performance. And so, he had a crappy spring training. Of course, he wasn't super confident going into that start. And then he pitched, not
fine.
Great, but better than he had in spring training for sure.
Yeah.
And so, I felt like that was evidence that the mental side doesn't matter as much. I don't care if you're not confident at all. If you're throwing your pitches where you want to, that's all that matters. And, that's what I want to see from him. And I do think it's a combination of the two. I'm not saying there's no mental aspect to it for Roki, but I don't think you have a spray pattern like that because of your brain. I think it's because of the way your body, your legs and your arms are working together and whatever. I think it's mechanical when you can't throw the pitch where you want to.
Well, you could if it's like this is not a Yip situation, but if it's Yips, if you're a Rick Ankiel or a Hung Chi Kuo or something like that, then it's a little more of the brain not telling the body when to fire correctly and when to release the ball. I don't think that's the situation. I'm not sure if I'm seeing all of the chat here, which I'm definitely not. Appreciate everybody sounding off in the chat. You guys are the reasons we do this, so we're going to try to add the chat to the conversation as much as we can. But I'm seeing a narrative that we're being like negative, or there's
I assume that's referring to the
critical.
chat. I think that's probably referring to the chat being negative. I hope so, because for me,
I think we're being super positive. This was a huge step in a number of ways for Roki, and a great step forward.
Yeah. Let's pop up this super chat from JY Kim, $5. Says, as Lewis Analysis said, development isn't linear. He needs the major experience to learn from his mistakes and get better. He will. It's a journey. I assume that was Lewis Analysis is someone else in the chat, probably. I know. No,
it's the great Lou Analysis.
Lou Anal, as we call him for short. Grow
up.
It's
not Saturday.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. Matty Man says he was going to type the words, Rick Ankiel.
Yeah. And that one, the yips are a real thing but this doesn't feel like the yips because the yips come on suddenly. Like it's been an ongoing issue with Roki since he came, and the yips, you just get past it. You wake up one day and I can throw to first base again, or you wake up one day and say, it's never going to happen again. I'm going to become a center fielder like Rick Ankiel did.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, I think this is just, I don't know how healthy he is because we know, I saw something on Twitter a couple weeks ago talking about since his injury in Japan, there's been some concerning things. So that's why I think it's mechanical. I think trying to get his body all the way back right, because somebody else in the chat a minute ago asked I think it was Cole, but I can't find it right now, said, did he have command issues in Japan because, he threw a couple perfect games or threw a perfect game and then 8 perfect innings his next time out. The command issues are not a long-standing thing with him. It's a more recent thing. And that's, probably started around the time of the shoulder injury, in which case, it probably is mechanics stemming from that injury.
I think too, to step back and give a little bit of grace to him here. In spring training, he was trying to learn 2 pitches he'd never thrown with that cutter that they're tracking as a slider, and with that 2-seamer. And that was when I saw the 2-seamer coming out of the words trying to learn 2-seam fastball coming out of FanFest. I immediately raised that red flag about this will affect the fastball and the forkball. But he's put on a smile. He said, I'll do my best, coach. And he tried it all through spring training. Did not work. So I think a lot of the symptom of a 15+ ERA in spring was him trying to utilize these pitches. And again, he abandoned it right away on opening day, along with the realization that, oh man, like all these lights, I got nowhere to go but up. Really, he could have kept going down, but I got nowhere to go but up from here, and that's what we're doing. We are trending upwards.
Yeah, and honestly, it might be pain that's worth going through if he does figure out, like you said, he's not really doing the 2-seamer anymore, but he is still messing with the slider/cutter. And that's kind of one of the things people talk about a lot is he needs that third pitch. And he absolutely does need the third pitch if he's going to be a starting pitcher. He also needs to be able to throw all the pitches where he's trying to throw them, or at least relatively close to where he's trying to throw them. I genuinely believe if the fastball command is right, that forkball is nearly unhittable, because I think if he's throwing strikes with the fastball, he would have the confidence to not hang the forkball in that situation as James would. That was and maybe that's where it is a little bit mental there, that it's, when you hang it right in the middle of the plate like that, it's maybe you weren't convicted enough to realize it's 0-2. James Wood is a relatively free swinger. I've got 2 or 3 free chances to try to get him to chase this forkball before I need to throw something in the strike zone. But if you're not confident that you're going to be able to throw it in the strike zone on the 3-2 pitch, you don't want to risk getting to 3-2 if he does lay off him. All those things. It all comes together. And that's why I say the mechanics and the mental are all tied together and they contribute to each other. But yeah, it's like you said, the slider, cutter, whatever it is, looked really good at times today. And if that is developing into a legit pitch, like he threw it several times today in situations where I would have expected him to throw the forkball. It's an 0-2 count. And it was early in the game. I'm trying to remember who it was that he was facing. It was Joey Wiemer. And he had Wiemer in an 0-2 count. And he ended up going 3-2 on him and did get him out. And that was something that was impressive to me. Like to go from 0-2 to 3-2 and still get the out. I feel like spring training Roki, that absolutely would have been a walk.
Yeah.
But when it was 0-2, he threw him a few sliders where I think normally he might have gone forkball, but that seemed clear that he was saying, okay, can I make this a put away pitch? And it's not a put away pitch yet, but there was progress there. So all this, like I said earlier, I don't know if it's easier to give him grace because they did come back and win. Because honestly, if they had just lost 6-1 today, I think the story would be, Roki, bombed again. And, and it would feel like we were putting lipstick on a pig to be trying to talk about these positives. But because the offense did come back. So, the headline here says Roki is saved by the bats, but I feel like all Dodgers was saved by the bats too, because we can have a more honest, direct show about Roki because the game turned out fine. Don't worry about that. So we can talk about Roki in a vacuum and not worry about the result of the game because it turned out fine.
Yeah, the narrative would have been very, very much changed, and the tone would have been darker. It would have been angry that the Dodgers didn't sweep, and it's because the one guy that we have the biggest spotlight on, honestly, right now, kind of in the rotation. I mean, yes, still for me, the biggest spotlight in the starting rotation is Roki Sasaki, but you're starting to, the light is getting a little brighter on Emmett Sheehan, who's had just a weird start to his season. I'm not quite worried yet. I want to see, a handful more starts, but, there are some things to maybe, I don't know, if raise some red flags, but at least start to put your hand on the yellow flag, keeping an eye on that kid. But again, the thing that made me feel best about Roki today is coming back out for that fifth inning and putting up a 0. That is huge for the confidence. And those boys in that clubhouse said, we got you. Maybe in Japanese they said that, but they said, we got you.
Yeah, domo origatsu. You like that?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Our friend...
is your soundboard on?
It is. What do you got?
I don't know. Just give me a meh for that or something.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that is my bad. I should have. Let's see what else I got. I got this.
Well, what had happened was...
but I do think that, it was very important to the team and to him that he got through 5 innings, because that is
huge.
Actual countable progress. Hey, I pitched 1 more inning than I did last time. Yeah. The other numbers didn't look great, but that's progress that you can hang your hat on, and you can build on that and say, next time I'm going 6 and have that be the goal. And obviously there will also be a goal. Don't throw an 0-2 forkball right down the middle, especially it won't be James Wood next time. It would be against the Rangers. So I don't know, Corey Seager. Is Seager hurt right now? I always just assume Corey Seager's hurt, even though...
Yeah, he's kind of usually on the more injured side.
I haven't heard anything, but it's just an assumption. Hey, we got a couple more super chats. Let's jump into real quick. Our buddy Raul, 499, says the broadcast said they would rather have Roki throw 96 with location than 100 and can't locate. And obviously the perfect world would be 100 with command. And that's what he used to be. But I think you're more likely to get back to 100 with command if you start with 96 with command, get there, and then build back up to 100, rather than just, okay, let's stick at 100 and hope the command shows up. So I think this is the right approach.
Were you watching the broadcast or listening
I was
today?
watching.
So there's definitely a much better way I can say this, but I'm choosing to say it this way. Oral was fantastic today. Pause for effect.
We've covered everything here today. Yeah, and honestly,
That's right. I meant an air horn.
Yeah. Let me see what I have here.
I need a slide whistle. That's what I need. The old tried and true.
There we go.
That also works.
Yeah.
Wait, which joke drum is better? I can't hear mine for what it's worth.
Okay, mine was louder. I know that.
Yours was a lot louder.
Yeah.
Mine is intentionally less loud. A little bit. Matty Man already says clip that. Don't worry. I know my guy Noah's on it because he's
probably already in the Discord right now. And we just got a thumbs down from somebody. What's the deal with that? Oh, I know why. It's
no mental toughness in the chat there. One of the other things, the final thing I'll say about this, and it could be another whole can of worms if I really wanted to do this, pursue a longer tangent on this, but you saw in the fourth inning, Miguel Rojas go to the mound and kind of pull Roki aside and be like, or not really pull him aside because you can't pull him aside when you're on the mound, but just get in his face and be like, hey, you got this, calm down, attack this dude. We, get a ground out, whatever he would have said just to lock him in. And I really like what Mike Salas posted, Dodgers After Duty, or at msalas24 on the Twitter. You guys will see him on here, of course, on Dodgers 2080 and all that kind of stuff. Dodgers Beat. All right, enough plugging Mike. Anyways, he had tweeted, "This is what I love about Miguel Rojas. He recognizes his pitcher is struggling, calls a timeout for words of encouragement, a true leader on the field, and he wishes Mookie did more of that." Matty Man, same sentiment as well. Miggy is an on-field coach. Something, I'm dumb to bring back up, but a couple of years ago on the Blue Heaven show, I had said,
never heard of it.
I was okay. I was okay with the idea at the time of the Dodgers potentially looking to sign somebody like Carlos Correa, because Carlos Correa has that kind of intangible where, quiet down all the other noise and all the BS and all the cheating and all that, but he's there for his team. He's there for his pitcher. And I've seen him do that a few times. And I thought that was something the Dodgers were missing for a while, that infield general that will kind of put himself in the crossfire in a way to lock his pitcher back in. So something we're going to talk about next, the Mookie Betts situation and that injury. I really love that Miggy is still here and still able to play shortstop and be that guy, be that leader that he is. It's awesome stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. One more super chat about Roki real quick. Then we will listen to past Clint talk about IQ Bar, and then we will talk about Mookie. $2 for
Well, we also have voicemails.
Yeah, we do. $2 for JY Kim. His fastball spin rate RPM is rising too? ? I actually haven't looked at spin rate. I don't know if you have.
I have not. That is all I got for you. Right. I won't have that here.
I'll try to make a mental toughness note to check that out and see. But obviously the spin rate on the four seamer should be higher than on the two seamer, or at least a different angle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's as you could guess, Clint. The Carlos Correa idea is going over well in the chat. Yeah. So good job with that.
I knew. I already knew it.
Yeah.
And even the Enigma said someone like Correa. I wanted somebody who wasn't going to be Corey Seager, who I love Siegs. I miss Siegs. Siegs was in his own bubble. He didn't give a crap about everything going on in his team. He cared about Corey and Maddie's world.
Yeah.
Don't blame him.
And right now, I would rather have Seager than Correa, because I do think the Dodgers have enough of I don't think everybody needs to be that Miguel Rojas type, but you do need some. And so it is nice when it is the shortstop, but it doesn't need to be the shortstop. I think Max Muncy is that kind of guy. Maybe doesn't quite have the baseball acumen and instincts or something, like not to say he doesn't have it all, but Mickey Rose on another level from most players when it comes to that. There's a reason people talk about Miggy as a coach in the near future, because he's very, very good at that. But I think Muncy has the personality to be that guy for sure.
I'm just enjoying the chat. How about I tell you in the past about IQ Bar, and then we'll come back.
I think that's a good idea. Where is Past Clint? Hey, thanks, Past Clint.
No.
Oh, look, he took the. I thought we were back in the past, but as you know, present Clint doesn't have ears. Past Clint does.
I do not.
But yeah, thanks to IQ Bar. So Mookie, we got the word. We talked a lot about Mookie Betts yesterday. He left yesterday's game in the first inning with what they called lower back pain. Turns out it was an oblique injury, which makes sense, I guess. If it's the low oblique and all those things are connected. You sometimes don't even know exactly where your body hurts. You just know something hurts, and so
we know the song.
Yeah,
backbone's connected to the oblique bone.
The red thing's connected to my wristwatch. There's our daily Simpsons reference.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick. Oblique is not a fun word for fans to hear. Dave Roberts, get your grains of salt ready, people. Dave Roberts did say that he expects it to be less than the usual 4 to 6 week timeline. We all know how much stock we should put in what Dave Roberts says about those things, about injuries. Yeah. But just because he's saying it doesn't mean it's wrong. They were very, very quick to pull him out of the game. And they were quick on the trigger to put him on the IL. And like I said last night, Clint, I said I would be shocked if they didn't put him on the IL because there's nothing you can see in an MRI that's going to make you feel so much better that you're not going to be cautious. Because as we saw today, even without Mookie, this team is still really good. And today it was with Miguel Rojas batting second. That's not going to be the case. That was because in addition to Mookie getting hurt, it was days off, scheduled days off for Tucker and Muncy and Smith. And so this was a lineup that was designed to say, well, good thing we won the first 2 games of this series.
Yeah, I'm happy they won because I did not want to have to face the punt or backlash in the chat, which is kind of a punt of a lineup or house money if you're up.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the Dodgers and their checkbook baseball is you can punt and still have Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman and Teoscar Hernandez and the world's best hitter Andy Pages in your lineup. And Dalton Rushing who hit a home run. And Santiago Espinal who had a 2-run single. This is still a good lineup. Rojas had a hit and contributed to a rally. Like everybody, even the guys, Alex Freeland didn't do anything today. Other than that, and Alex Freeland against a lefty was the biggest punt of all. And that one was because of Mookie. That was, we can't put Rojas at second base because we need Rojas at shortstop. And so Alex Freeland can't hit right-handed nearly as well as he hits left-handed. So that was to be expected. There's a reason he was batting ninth. The rest of the lineup, though, you could squint and say, this is a decent lineup. Alex Call he's batting 500 this year. That's 3 for 6 or 4 for 8 or something. But still,
he looks really good in this series, man. That is a dude who puts together a professional at bat, knows when to challenge balls and strikes. I really enjoyed him in this series.
Yeah, and that chat I just put up, Dave punted this game and still won. That's the benefit of having the Nationals on the schedule right here. They had 2 hopeful postseason contenders to start the season, the D-backs and the Guardians, and then they have the World Series rematch coming up. After the game, Orel Hershiser, he said the Dodgers survived what could have been a trap series on their way to Toronto, and instead they took care of business. It was such an impressive series for this offense. And yes, it's the Nationals pitching. I don't care. We've seen the Dodgers get shut down by bad pitching. What we saw this weekend was the Dodgers saying, we don't even care that we're going to Toronto next. We are focused on destroying the Nationals and making their moms cry right now while we can. We're only getting 2 chances this year to make the mothers of the Nationals players cry, and we're not going to miss those opportunities. And now they can think about Toronto. But I thought this weekend was really indicative of them having their eyes on the prize all the time of today is what we're playing for. I think that's really important.
And today was what they were playing for when they got back into it. I did see a chat. I'm trying to find it. But somebody said, I think it was Matty Man who said, it was a punt until they got close late. And then, like I said earlier, Dave pulled all the right levers in the bullpen, but going to Will, going to Kyle Tucker, who ends up tying the game on a ground out, maybe could have been a double play, still would have tied the game. And then who got the homer in the 8th inning? The insurance run?
Teoscar.
Teo, that's right. And Teo being in there. Yeah. It was a really cool game. And I mean, absolute credit to Dave for acknowledging that it was a winnable game and not just that's worth the clap right there. DC said that Shohei Ohtani is on a plane to Toronto. He should have already been in Toronto.
Hopefully he's not still on a plane to Toronto.
But yeah, I like what Dave said after the game. I got it here in front of me. It was a battle. The grit this group stood out the most, and everybody did contribute. Even you mentioned the rushing homer. He homers and then he gets pulled. I mean, it's Will Smith taking his spot, but you want right, versus left, then Dalton versus left, and then it worked out. Kevin, you got everybody's favorite Kevin Uhas bringing up Dalton in the chat. Probably don't need to bring up or dive too much into this right now, but I want to see a little bit more rushing. It's hard for him to get into consistency when he is having inconsistent playing time.
Especially his 2 starts this year have both come against lefties too.
Yeah.
Like it's, they've been both Roki games and against left-handed opposing starting pitchers. So he's been put in tough situations. And the fact that he came up big, like it was a big home run. It didn't feel big at the time because it cut it from 6-1 to 6-3. But without that, the 8th inning rally doesn't mean as much. So it was a big deal. It was, yeah. And so all of this to say, with Mookie Betts gone, they've said that for the most part, it's going to be Ha-Seong Kim and Miguel Rojas splitting time at shortstop, which means a lot of playing time for Kim, because the left-handed hitting part of a platoon always gets more playing time. I do think it won't be a strict platoon because I think they like Miguel's defense and his field generalship and everything, and he's kind of earned that. So I do think he will get some starts against righty, but I think Kim's going to get a lot of regular playing time. And the what's his name? Alex Freeland is going to be, for the most part, the everyday second baseman while Mookie's out. Now we might see occasionally Kim get a start at second base against a lefty when Rojas is at shortstop, just because we know what Alex Freeland can do, right-handed hitting against left-handed pitching. They might give Kim a chance because Kim in the minors last year and in the majors actually hit lefties okay. And so, we may see some of that, but it's never going to be a good thing when a guy like Mookie Betts goes on the injured list.
No.
But this does give them opportunities to give Kim some at-bats, to give Freeland regular playing time, to keep Miggy Rowe relevant, as Doc would say, all those things.
Yeah, if you had it on a schedule somewhere, it's like, okay, well, you're going to need to find a time to have Mookie Betts miss a month. Do you want it now? Do you want it in the middle of the season, or do you want it at the end? No, you take it now. And yeah, this is also a phenomenal opportunity to see what a lot more Freeland and a lot more Kim sooner than it would have been otherwise. So silver lining, sucks, but this is the time to have Mookie missing time 100%.
Yep, absolutely. And hopefully it is only, 3 or 4 weeks instead of 4 to 6 weeks. And he's back healthy. You feel for him, trying to bust out after a lackluster year last year, but this could be a blessing in disguise for him too.
Hey, first thing I'm doing is I'm sending him to Muncie's chiropractor. Hell, let's get him some glasses too while we're at it. Just get all the fixes in now, and then he'll be fine.
Yeah, I guess so.